Heidi, and I'm here to share a story with you today. But before I get to my read aloud, the first thing I wanted to do is show you something that I made when I was about 7 or 8 years old. This was called the apple tree, and this is just to show you that I have always loved books. I love to read books, I love to share books, and I love to make books. So I remember this is something I loved to do when I was little. I would rush home from school, grab my crayons and my pencils and start writing my own stories and drawing the pictures to make my very own picture books. And when I was all finished, I can remember to make my book seem real. Inside the front cover, I would say, "Words by Heidi," because I had written the words to the story, and then I would add "Pictures by Heidi," because I had also done the artwork. And that helped to make my book seem very official. So I have another book that I want to share with you, another one that I've made. And once again, I can say "Words by Heidi" because I've written the words to this story. But I'm older now, so I know when you're the person who writes the book, you are called the author. And I can say "Pictures by Heidi" because I did the artwork. I didn't use crayons for this one. Instead, I used my watercolor paints. So I know that if I do the artwork or the illustrations, then I'm called the illustrator. This story is called "East to the Sea," and it's about family vacations. When I was a little girl, we would head off to our favorite place, our grandparents' cottage in St. Martin's, New Brunswick, on the Bay of Fundy. So I would like to share this story with you now. East to the Sea. East to the sea. And before I even begin the story, you kind of get the idea that someone's getting ready to go on vacation. There's a suitcase, there's things that are being packed, some sunscreen, swimming goggles, so they're getting ready to go on vacation. Here we go. When I was young, about 8 or 9, my family went east in the summertime. It was summer vacation for my sisters and me, so my family packed up and drove east to the sea. 3 sisters in back, pajamas already on, Mom and Dad took turns driving from dusk until dawn, through large glowing cities, by great shimmering lakes, past lonely farmhouses and grand seawayscapes. A quick stop in the village at Grampy's old store, where Mom made us treat bags full of candy galore. Next stop, the cottage we knew from years past. Are we there yet? How much further? Please, Daddy, drive fast. When at last, there's the cottage, we'd arrived once again. Our down east vacation could officially begin. Weather-worn by sea winds and saltwater aged, the cottage looked perfect because nothing had changed. Days filled with sunshine were spent at the beach. With cousins, we'd search for shells safe from tide's reach. Build castles and sail ships as seagulls would fly. Climb mountains, deep sea dive, and soar through the sky. Days damp with fog meant a book by the fire, or games on the porch as the tide came in higher. Then trips into town to get more supplies, where local traditions left us wide-eyed. Warm nights to the beach, holding hands in a row with blankets and jackets and flashlights in tow. The dim night felt scary, dark shadows beside us, but the sound of the waves and the lighthouse would guide us. At last we arrived at the bonfire location, built in the daylight with great anticipation. Dad struck a match, driftwood lit up the night, sparking and crackling with all of its might. As we watched the sparks spiral and dance heaven-bound, my sister leaned over with a whispering sound, said that's how the stars got to be in the sky. They were bonfire sparks that went up too high. We'd settle in cozy as waves lapped nearby and stars spread like gold dust across the night sky, singing and laughing as hot dogs were roasted, fingers fast sticky from marshmallows toasted. As the flames ceased their leaping and embers grew bright, we begged for the story Dad told us each night about a huge sea monster out on the waves who spent moonlit hours digging holes called the caves. She's timid of people, stays away in the day. When you go to bed, that's when she likes to play. She frolics, she splashes, digs holes round here too. But a wee hole to her is a cave next to you. Eyes wide with wonder, we near burst with fright. Would sea monster come to this beach on this night? Time to pack up, Dad would say with a grin. Quick, to the cottage. Did I see a fin? Tucked under covers in the cot, my mom said, 'Twas another big day, it is past time for bed. But not for the grown-ups. I drowsily try to stay up and listen as stories would fly. I'd catch bits of lore about old times and friends dear, but eyes heavy with sleep, the tale's end I'd not hear. For comforting voices, hushed laughter and waves soon lulled me to sleep after fresh salt air days. Before we knew it, too quickly, the end would draw near. A last walk by the ocean, I'd sigh, see you next year. Our seaside treasures, rocks smooth and shells white, soon filled our suitcases, packed safe and tight. Just as goodbyes were about to be heard, we looked round for Grampy, who'd not said a word. He went for the mail, Nanny shared with a kiss. Goodbyes are too hard, something he'd rather miss. The trip home seemed much longer, our mom always said. No longer excitement, there was quiet instead. For we were remembering days happily spent at the seaside, so thoughts took us back, not ahead. I've now grown much older, but still to this day, I cherish those times spent on that ocean bay. Content such adventures once again will be known, for our next generation is creating their own. The end. So that's my story, East to the Sea, about summer vacations. And I wanted to share something with you. Whenever I go to the beach, I love to collect sea glass and rocks and seashells. So when I was doing the artwork for this, the very first thing I wanted you to notice when you opened the book was a beautiful seashell. So I've got my seashell right here that I used as my inspiration. And then what I want you to see if you can find, if you play this back and listen to this story again, you might notice that the first day the girls go to the beach, they start a collection. And if you look around the edge of the page, there it is. There's that little seashell the first day at their beach. And if you continue to turn the pages of their vacation, you will notice something happens to that little collection that starts with one seashell. So there's my story, East to the Sea. Thank you for listening to me share it with you, and I'm hoping this might inspire you to grab some paper and crayons and maybe staple some paper together or fold it in half and start making your very own books about something that's special to you, whether it's a favorite place in the summertime, people that are special to you, a pet that's special to you. Anything that's in your heart is something that you can tell about and